The Empire's first move in the vastness of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire was known as the most powerful force, a regime that had conquered countless planets. They controlled entire star systems, crushing anyone who dared to oppose them. Their fleets were massive, their technology advanced, and their soldiers feared across the stars. They had never faced an enemy they couldn't defeat. Earth, a small planet in a distant corner of the galaxy, was just another insignificant world to them. The Galactic Empire had only recently discovered its existence. To them, humans were nothing more than an unimportant species, with no real power or resources. They saw Earth as a perfect target and easy conquest, a planet ripe for the taking. The decision was made quickly. The Empire's Supreme Council gave the order to invade Earth, confident that it would be an easy victory. They sent their largest fleet, armed with advanced weapons and technology, to crush any resistance. The plan was simple: land on Earth, overpower its people, and take control. They expected no trouble. However, they had no idea what was waiting for them. The humans had been watching the stars for decades, carefully observing the movements of alien civilizations. Despite their limited resources, Earth's governments had been preparing for a day just like this. They had been developing secret technologies and military strategies, but they had kept them hidden from the rest of the galaxy. The world was united in its resolve, and though the humans were vastly outnumbered, they were ready to defend their home. As the alien fleet approached, the Empire's commanders were confident. Their ships, massive and formidable, moved in perfect formation toward Earth. The humans, they believed, would never stand a chance against their might. The Empire had conquered planets far more advanced than Earth, and they expected this invasion to be no different. But as the fleet neared the planet, the first signs of trouble appeared. The Empire's advanced sensors picked up strange signals coming from Earth, signals they hadn't expected. They dismissed them at first, chalking it up to interference or natural phenomena. But as they drew closer, the signals became clearer. Wasn't as defenseless as they had thought. On the surface of Earth, governments had already begun to take action. Emergency protocols were activated worldwide, and military bases that had once seemed dormant now came to life. Hidden bunkers, secret underground facilities, and advanced weapon systems, all built in silence over the years, began to awaken. The world's leaders had prepared for this moment, and now they had to act quickly. Across the globe, armies mobilized. Nations that had once been divided now stood united in the face of a common enemy. The people of Earth, once unaware of the coming threat, began to realize the danger they faced. News reports, once filled with mundane stories, now focused on military mobilization and emergency protocols. The world was on edge, but it was also ready. The first sign of resistance came when Earth's military satellites, designed to track any foreign ships, locked onto the approaching fleet. These satellites had been developed in secret, using technology far more advanced than the Empire could have imagined. Earth's forces had been quietly developing energy-based weapons, capable of disabling enemy ships before they could even reach the planet. But these weapons had never been used until now. As the alien fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, the first of Earth's hidden weapons were fired. Powerful energy beams shot out from hidden bases around the world, striking the lead ship in the fleet. The aliens were caught off guard. Their ship's shields, which had easily deflected attacks from other worlds, were suddenly overpowered. The beam hit with such force that it sent the ship spiraling out of control, crashing into the surface of the moon. The Empire's fleet, now on high alert, scrambled to regroup. The alien commanders were stunned. They had never encountered anything like this before. The Empire's superior technology and firepower had always been enough to crush any opposition. But now they were facing something unexpected, something they didn't understand. Earth's military, once thought weak, had just demonstrated incredible power. The Empire's commanders, though shaken, quickly gave orders to retaliate. They launched a barrage of weapons toward Earth, their ships firing missiles and energy blasts in every direction. But humanity was ready. Earth's forces had anticipated this, and their defenses were just as advanced. Anti-missile systems, designed to protect the planet from any form of attack, fired back, intercepting the alien missiles mid-flight. The battle for Earth had begun, and it was clear that the humans would not go down without a fight. The Empire's initial confidence was quickly fading, replaced by a growing fear. What they had thought would be an easy victory was now turning into a fierce struggle. The aliens' pride, their belief in their superiority, was being shattered by the unexpected strength of humanity. The Empire had made a huge mistake, one that they would soon regret. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. But they weren't ready to give up. They were determined to crush humanity, to prove that the galaxy was still under their control. But the humans were just getting started. And as the battle raged on, the alien invaders would learn that Earth's military might was far stronger than they could ever have imagined. Asterisk. Humanity strikes back. The unexpected strike on the Empire's flagship sent shockwaves through their entire fleet. The aliens, who had never been challenged by any species before, were now scrambling to regroup. Their arrogance had led them to underestimate humanity. What they didn't realize was that Earth had more than just weapons hidden away. They had a fierce, united spirit that no invader could crush. Back on Earth, the battle was far from over. As soon as the first attack hit, Earth's military forces launched their own counterattack. The world's leaders, who had spent years quietly preparing for a moment like this, activated a network of secret bases and weapon systems built beneath mountains, oceans, and remote deserts. It was time to reveal what they had been hiding. At the heart of this defense was Earth's greatest technological achievement, powerful energy weapon, capable of disabling entire fleets in a matter of seconds. It had been kept under wraps for decades, waiting for the perfect moment to be used. Now, that moment had arrived. Across the globe, military commanders issued orders to activate the weapon. The energy beams, invisible to the naked eye, were launched from deep within hidden bunkers. The first shots hit the alien ships with devastating accuracy. Massive warships, once invincible, began to break apart under the immense pressure of the energy beams. The aliens were helpless. They had never seen anything like this before. The Empire's fleet commanders were in disbelief. How could a small, unimportant planet have such advanced technology? They had expected to wipe Earth off the map with minimal effort, but now they were facing something that threatened to destroy everything they had built. Panic spread through their ranks. The once proud empire was on the brink of collapse, and it had all started with one mistake: underestimating humanity. On Earth's surface, the military was mobilizing in ways the aliens could never have imagined. Fighter jets, equipped with advanced weapons, soared through the skies. Ground troops, armed with energy-based rifles and advanced armor, moved swiftly to engage alien forces attempting to land. The fight was no longer just about defending Earth. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The aliens tried to retaliate. launching more missiles and energy blasts at Earth's defenses. But Earth's military was always one step ahead. Anti-aircraft systems intercepted their missiles, while hidden underground bases fired back with deadly precision. The world's leaders had anticipated every move the Empire might make, and they were ready. Meanwhile, Earth's scientists worked around the clock to enhance the weapons already deployed. They had seen the power of the alien ships and knew they needed to evolve quickly if they were to survive. Within hours, new weapons were developed, ones even more powerful than the last. The Empire had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and innovate. As the day turned into night, the battle intensified. The Empire's fleets, once confident and invincible, were now retreating. Earth's military continued to push forward, taking control of key points and securing vital resources. The humans had no intention of giving up. They were fighting for their survival, their home, and their future. But the aliens were not going down easily. Their commanders, frustrated and enraged by the unexpected resistance, ordered a full-scale invasion. Their fleets would now attempt to land on Earth and engage in hand-to-hand combat. They believed that if they could get their forces on the ground, they could overpower the humans. After all, the Empire had never lost a war. The first wave of alien troops landed in major cities across Earth, but they quickly realized they had made a grave mistake. The humans weren't just fighting with technology, they were fighting with determination and unity. Streets that had once been bustling with everyday life now turned into battlegrounds. The people of Earth, who had never known war on such a scale, now fought with the courage of a species that refused to be destroyed. One by one, alien soldiers were taken down by Earth's forces. The humans, despite being outnumbered, fought with an unyielding spirit. The alien invaders, who had once thought of themselves as conquerors, were now realizing that they were the ones who were outmatched. But the Empire would not back down. As Earth's military made progress, the aliens sent reinforcements. A new wave of heavily armed warships appeared in the sky, and the air was filled with the sound of massive explosions. The fight for Earth had escalated to a scale no one could have predicted. As the night grew darker, the war was far from over. Earth's forces had struck back with overwhelming power, but the Empire's fleet was determined to finish what they had started. The fate of the planet hung in the balance. Would humanity's military strength be enough to turn the tide of this war, or would the Empire's might crush Earth's resistance once and for all? The answer lay in the hearts and minds of the people of Earth. They had no choice but to fight, and fight they did. The Empire's shock. The battle was far from over, and the Empire was not prepared for what was happening. After their initial invasion failed, the Galactic Empire had expected a quick and decisive victory. Instead, they were staring at the terrifying reality that Earth was not the easy conquest they had imagined. Humanity's unexpected military power had already caused significant damage, and now the Empire's leadership was struggling to maintain control. The Empire's supreme command was in chaos. Their fleet was taking heavy losses, and their most advanced warships were being destroyed one by one. The alien commanders were in disbelief. How could a species with no prior experience in intergalactic warfare do so much damage? The aliens had relied on their vast numbers and superior technology, but Earth had shown them something far more dangerous. The strength of human ingenuity and determination. Desperation began to set in. The Empire's high-ranking officials met in secret, trying to come up with a plan to salvage their mission. "We underestimated them," one of the commanders admitted, his voice laced with frustration. The humans are more prepared than we thought. Their technology, it's beyond anything we expected. A different voice, one filled with anger, spoke up. We can still win. We have the numbers. We can send more reinforcements. We just need to overwhelm them. The room fell silent, the tension thick. But the idea of sending more troops wasn't as appealing as it once seemed. The Empire had lost too many ships already, and Earth's military was adapting too quickly. Back on Earth, the humans were fully aware that they were winning, but they also knew the aliens wouldn't give up easily. They had struck a powerful blow, but the war was not over yet. Despite the damage inflicted on the Empire's forces, their fleets were still large, and they still had advanced technology at their disposal. Earth's military leaders knew they couldn't rest on their laurels. Every victory came with its own set of challenges in the midst of the chaos. Earth's scientists continued to improve the weapons and systems used to defend the planet. They worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The weapons that had already proven effective were enhanced, and new, even more powerful systems were developed. As the aliens regrouped, humanity was already one step ahead, but the Empire was relentless. They began to adapt, sending more powerful fleets to Earth. The new reinforcements were unlike anything the humans had seen before. These ships were equipped with stronger shields, faster weapons, and more firepower. It seemed like Earth's defenses might be tested to their limits. As the new fleets entered Earth's orbit, the tension grew. The humans were ready for this challenge, but the odds were now even higher. Earth's forces had to rely on their speed and intelligence, using hit-and-run tactics to disrupt the alien fleets and prevent them from landing. Every moment counted. The new wave of alien ships quickly began to attack, their weapons blasting. From every direction, the first wave of ships had been a test, but now the Empire was throwing everything they had into the battle. Earth's military fought back with everything they could muster, but the sheer scale of the attack was overwhelming. For a moment, it looked as though the tide was about to turn in favor of the Empire. But Earth's military leaders had one final weapon up their sleeves, something the Empire had never seen before, hidden deep within Earth's most secret facility. A weapon was ready. It was a last resort, one they had hoped never to use, but now the time had come. In an instant, the weapon was activated. A massive energy blast erupted from the hidden base, striking the alien fleets with an incredible force. The aliens were caught off guard. Ships that had been untouched by previous attacks were torn apart in seconds. The blast hit so powerfully that it sent shockwaves through the Empire's entire fleet. In an instant, the tide of the battle shifted once again. The Empire's commanders were stunned. They had underestimated the humans once more. The power of Earth's final weapon had shaken the foundations of their plans. The shock wave from the blast sent a message to the Empire. Humanity would not be conquered. The Empire's fleet, now in disarray, began to retreat. The battle was far from over, but the momentum had shifted. The aliens had suffered a crushing blow, and they were no longer certain of their victory. As they pulled back, they began to rethink their strategy. Back on Earth, the people could see the first signs of victory. The Empire's retreat was a clear signal that their forces had been repelled. The humans had shown the galaxy that they could stand up to any force, no matter how powerful. But the war was not over. Earth's military knew that the aliens would return stronger, angrier, and more determined than ever. As the alien fleet retreated into the depths of space, Earth's military leaders began to plan for the final phase of the war. They had proven their strength. But they knew the fight was far from over. The Empire's arrogance had been their downfall. But the humans knew that the next battle would be even more intense. The galaxy would never forget the day that humanity showed it was not to be underestimated. A new era, humanity's victory. The Empire had underestimated humanity, and now, after a long and fierce battle, the moment of truth had arrived. As the alien fleet retreated, Earth's military forces were poised for the final strike. But this victory wasn't just about winning a war, it was about sending a message to the galaxy that humanity would not be crushed. They were stronger than anyone had realized. For the first time in history, the once mighty Galactic Empire was on the defensive. Their ships, their weapons, and their pride had all been shattered by a species they had considered weak and insignificant. The humans had done the impossible, and now the galaxy was forced to recognize their power. Back on Earth, the celebrations were quiet but intense. The battle had left scars across the planet, but the people of Earth were determined. They knew this victory was just the beginning. The war had not only proven their strength, but had also united the world in a way that had never been seen before. Nations, once divided by borders and conflicts, had come together to defend their homeland. They had won. But even as the humans celebrated, the leaders of the Empire were making their plans. They were humiliated, enraged, and determined to reclaim their lost honor. They had never faced an enemy like this, and their only choice was to strike again. The galaxy would not forget the day Earth had humbled them, and they would not forgive it. As Earth's military forces recovered and reorganized, the galaxy's power balance began to shift. The Empire had been the dominant force for centuries, but now the humans had proven that they were not just another species to be ruled. They were a force that could alter the entire galaxy's future. And this was just the beginning. The humans knew the Empire would return, but they were ready. Earth's defenses, enhanced by the lessons learned from their previous battles, were stronger than ever. The weapon systems that had been kept in secret for so long were now fully operational, and humanity's military leadership had refined their strategies. They were no longer just survivors, they were now fighters, prepared to face whatever challenges the galaxy threw at them. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's leaders sent a clear message to the Empire: we will never surrender. We will fight to the end. The humans had gained the respect of the galaxy's other species, who had once looked at them with scorn and doubt. Now, other planets began to seek alliances with Earth, offering their support in exchange for protection and strength. Humanity had proven that they were a power to be reckoned with, as Earth's forces stood vigilant, watching the stars for any signs of the Empire's return. The galaxy's dynamics were forever changed. The once mighty Empire had been forced to retreat, but they could never forget the lesson they had learned. Never underestimate humanity. The final battle had changed everything. The Empire would regroup, but the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. No longer a vulnerable, fragile species, humanity had shown the universe that their strength, intelligence, and determination made them a force that no one could ignore. With Earth's victory now secured, the planet began to rebuild. Cities that had been ravaged by war slowly came back to life. People returned to their homes, but their hearts were different. They had fought for their survival, and now they carried with them a new sense of purpose and unity. They knew they were no longer just survivors of a battle, they were victors, and they would continue to defend their home against any future threat. And though the Empire's retreat marked the end of one chapter, it also marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. The galaxy had been warned. The humans were no longer weak and insignificant. They had shown the universe their strength, and nothing would ever be the same. The Empire may have retreated, but humanity would never again be underestimated.